I was sitting in my office late one evening, and I was going through a list of calls that I had to return. And I was sort of rifling through them, looking at names, looking at numbers, and making calls. And I called one person. It was a woman who had contacted me about some kind of project that we were going to do together or something. And before I realized it, the phone rang. And by the way, I thought I would be leaving voicemails for most people because it was at a time where most people were working in their offices and so forth, and we were leaving voicemails. And so I left, I heard the phone pick up, and I was about to leave a message, and a man answered. And I looked at the number, and I realized, wow, I was probably calling the wrong person. And so I realized I had to ask for the person I was calling for. I guess it was a husband or a maid or something. And he handed the phone to the woman who said, "Andre, is this you?" And I realized I was calling her at home, in the evening. And a lot has changed, whereby we get calls at all kinds of times in all kinds of places. And back then it was weird, I guess, to call someone late in the evening and reach them at home and have a business call. Today, you get calls all types of hours, and one of the things that's happened with the smartphone is you feel like you have to always answer or respond to someone. I will get text messages early in the morning, late at night, emails, attachments, all kinds of things, because everything is coming on the phone. So the question might be, how do you communicate with your clients and prospects, and what is proper, what isn't, what is the right approach? And I have to tell you that it really does vary based on the relationship you have with them. Now, it's a good idea always to ask someone, how do you like to be contacted? How do you like to be, what kind of interaction do you like to have? And typically that person will say, well, email me or send me a text message. What's interesting today is each one of these forms of communication has a different level of intimacy. So a person might feel that if you send them an email, that is something that is professional, businesslike, and appropriate, and you can do that at any time. If you call someone, that is a little bit more intimate, and the person might feel that, yes, you can call me during the day, you can call me even early evening, but don't call me too late, because I don't want to have this call late into the evening or on the weekend. And then a text message, of course, might have the same feeling. Now, for some people, a text message feels very intimate. It feels like you are encroaching upon personal space. And for other people, a text message feels like a way of communicating that has arm's length to it. So you have to really ask your client what their preference is. Now, what I often will do is I will often use a method once a client uses that method. So if they will respond to me via text message, well, then I feel it's okay, or if they'll make an overture via text message, I'll feel it's okay to follow with them via text message. If there is a level of urgency attached to it, hey, we've got a date coming up, we've got situation, we've got to get an answer, I want you to see this right away, I might text them. If, for example, you're on your way to a meeting with them, or you're just left a meeting with them, a text is a very good way of communicating. The question today is, do I use email? Do I use voicemail? Do I make a call? Do I use a text message? Do I use social? And the simple answer is, you have to use them all. Today, we haven't eliminated one form of communication. We've just added additional forms of communication. You might be FaceTiming someone. You might be sending them video. You might be doing any number of things that give them another level of intimacy with you. And I believe that all of these have to be used effectively. I love the idea of sending someone a video. Sometimes I'll send someone one of the videos that I post and say, this is something you should watch because this really pertains to our conversation. I might send them a graphic of some kind. some people will say, look, don't send me a PDF. I don't really have the capacity. They use their phone differently. One of my pet peeves are people who use their phone sort of like a walkie-talkie. In other words, if you don't answer, you don't get a message from them. There's no voicemail. There's no clarity about why they called. They expect that when they call, that you will pick up and that they can talk to you. And that always leaves me puzzled. Okay, I wonder what they wanted. If I'm in a meeting, I don't know whether I should step out of that meeting and call them. I always say to someone, leave a message, leave a voicemail message, leave a text message. And then there are people who will say, who leaves voicemails these days? Some people don't even set up their voicemail, particularly if they're younger. They often will not even set up their voicemail. So it will vary based on who you're dealing with. I think there are a couple of rules. The first is email is always a good way to go. It's always a wonderful way to interact with someone, but of course a lot of people get emails. So you have that as an issue. But email has become the norm in terms of correspondence. If you want to surprise someone, if you want to do something really special, send them some written correspondence via snail mail. Put it in the postal mail. Send it via the post office. It'll get their attention and they'll take notice. If you want to really put some emphasis on something and some urgency, send them an overnight mail. When they get a package via express mail, it'll get their attention. Priority mail, it'll get their attention. They will open it probably before they see anything else. If you want to add some flair to the way you communicate, send someone a greeting card or a note in a greeting card envelope. That'll get their attention. A handwritten note they'll probably open faster than anything else. They'll know it's not a bill of any kind. If you want to give someone a different perspective about who you are, what you do, the subject matter, send them something that's graphic. Send them a PDF, send them a photograph, send them a video. That will give them a very different way of looking at the subject matter. And if you have some urgency attached to the communication, a text message is a great way to go. A text message essentially says, I'm focused on your concern, your issue. I know I can get to you this way, and I want you to have this. But make sure you don't misuse that so the person doesn't feel like you are encroaching upon their personal space. Lots of ways to communicate. Think about the best way and mix it up so that you can have a great sequence of communication with your prospect, with your clients, with your staff, with your colleagues, and you can advance the relationship using these many tools today. If you like this tip, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you liked it. Share it with someone in your network. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.